The phone buzzed on the kitchen counter just as Daniel was pouring his morning coffee. His wife, Rebecca, lunged for it with an urgency that made him pause mid-pour. Her face drained of color as she read the screen, then quickly darkened it. "Everything okay?" he asked, setting down the coffee pot. "Fine," she said too quickly, slipping the phone into her pocket. "Just work stuff." But Daniel had seen the name on the notification. Tyler. Her ex-boyfriend from college. They'd dated for 3 years before she met Daniel, and though Rebecca insisted they were just friends now, something about her reaction twisted his stomach. "Tyler's texting you about work." Daniel tried to keep his voice neutral. Rebecca's jaw tightened. "It's nothing. Can we not do this before I've even had caffeine?" The rest of breakfast passed in uncomfortable silence. Daniel left for his shift at the law firm, but the image of Rebecca's panicked face haunted him throughout the morning. By lunch, he couldn't concentrate. His paralegal, Jennifer, noticed him staring at the same document for 20 minutes. "Everything all right?" she asked. Daniel shook his head. "Just marriage stuff. You ever feel like your spouse is hiding something?" Jennifer gave him a sympathetic look. "Trust your gut. It's usually right." When Daniel got home that evening, Rebecca was in the shower. Her phone sat on the nightstand, screen up and unlocked. She must have just set it down. Daniel knew he shouldn't look. They'd always respected each other's privacy. But his hands moved before his conscience could stop them. He opened her messages with Tyler. What he found made his blood run cold. "Rebecca, I can't believe it's happening. I'm actually pregnant." "Tyler, that's incredible news. How are you feeling about it?" Rebecca, terrified. "Excited. I don't know. I haven't told Daniel yet." Tyler, "Why not? He'll be thrilled, won't he?" Rebecca, "I needed to tell someone first. Someone who knows me. You've always understood me in ways he doesn't." The messages were from 3 days ago. 3 days. They'd been trying to conceive for over a year, and she'd told her ex-boyfriend before her own husband? Daniel's hands shook as he scrolled further. More messages, spanning weeks. Nothing overtly romantic, but an emotional intimacy that felt like betrayal. Rebecca sharing her fears, her dreams, her frustrations, things she should have been sharing with him. The shower shut off. Daniel set the phone down exactly where he'd found it and walked to the living room, his mind racing. How did he confront this? Should he admit he'd invaded her privacy? Or wait for her to tell him about the pregnancy, if she ever did? Rebecca emerged in her bathrobe, toweling her hair. She smiled at him, that familiar warm smile he'd fallen in love with 6 years ago. Now it felt like a mask. "Hey," she said softly. "Sorry about this morning. I was just stressed." Daniel forced himself to smile back. "It's okay." But it wasn't okay. Nothing was okay. And he had no idea what to do next. 2 more days passed. Daniel watched Rebecca like a stranger, noting every glance at her phone, every moment of distraction. She seemed to be waiting for something, working up courage perhaps. But she said nothing about a pregnancy, nothing about Tyler, nothing that mattered. On Saturday morning, Daniel finally broke. They were having breakfast again. The kitchen seemed to be where their marriage kept fracturing, when Rebecca reached for her phone for the 5th time in 10 minutes. "Are you going to tell me?" Daniel's voice came out harder than he intended. Rebecca looked up, confusion crossing her face. "Tell you what?" "Don't." Daniel set down his fork with deliberate control. "Please don't lie to me right now." Her confusion shifted to something else. Guilt? Fear? "Daniel, I don't know what You're pregnant." The words hung in the air between them like shattered glass. "You told Tyler before you told me." Rebecca's face went white, then red. "You went through my phone. Is that really what you're leading with?" Daniel stood, his chair scraping against the floor. "Not I'm sorry or let me explain. You're making this about privacy. You had no right. And you had no right to share the most important news of our lives with your ex-boyfriend before your husband." Daniel's voice rose despite his efforts to stay calm. We've been trying for over a year, Rebecca. Over a year of appointments and disappointments and hope and heartbreak, and you tell Tyler first. Tears welled in Rebecca's eyes. You don't understand. Then make me understand. Because from where I'm standing, my wife is emotionally cheating on me with her ex, and I'm supposed to just be okay with it. It's not like that. Rebecca stood too, her voice breaking. Tyler and I are just friends. I needed someone to talk to who wouldn't. She stopped herself. Who wouldn't what? Care? Be excited? What exactly am I lacking here? Rebecca wrapped her arms around herself. You would have made it into this big thing immediately. Started planning, telling people, getting excited. I wasn't ready for that pressure. I needed space to process my own feelings first. So you went to him. Daniel's voice dropped to something quieter, more dangerous. The man you almost married. The one you keep texting about things you won't share with me. That's not fair. Read me the messages, Rebecca. Read them out loud and tell me I'm being unfair. Rebecca's phone buzzed on the table between them. They both looked at it. Tyler's name flashed on the screen with a new message. Have you told him yet? His fiancée keeps asking me questions. Daniel's stomach dropped. His fiancée knows. Rebecca grabbed the phone, but not before Daniel saw her hands trembling. It's not what you think. His fiancée knows about your pregnancy before I do? How many people did you tell, Rebecca? How far down the list was I? Just Tyler, and apparently he told Vanessa. I didn't know. The doorbell rang. They both froze, staring at each other. The doorbell rang again, more insistent this time. Daniel walked to the door, his body moving on autopilot while his mind reeled. He opened it to find a woman he'd never met standing on their porch. She was petite, dark-haired, with sharp eyes that assessed him immediately. You must be Daniel, she said. I'm Vanessa, Tyler's fiancée. We need to talk. Daniel stood in the doorway, blocking Vanessa's view of the interior. I don't think now is a good time. It's the perfect time. Vanessa's voice was calm but firm. Because apparently, I'm the only person willing to be honest about what's actually happening here. Rebecca appeared behind Daniel, her face pale. Vanessa, please. Please what? Let you keep playing both of them. Vanessa held up her phone. I have receipts, Rebecca. Should we discuss them here, or should Daniel invite me inside? Daniel stepped aside. His whole world was already imploding. What was one more explosion? Vanessa walked into their living room like she owned it, settling onto the couch with the confidence of someone holding all the cards. Rebecca remained standing, looking like she might bolt at any moment. Daniel positioned himself between them, arms crossed. Talk, he said to Vanessa. Tyler and I share phone accounts, Vanessa began. We're getting married in 3 months, and we decided transparency was important after his last relationship ended badly. She glanced at Rebecca meaningfully. So I can see his messages. Not reading them actively, but they sync to our iPad. This week, I noticed he was texting someone a lot. Your wife. They're friends, Rebecca said weakly. Are they? Vanessa pulled up her phone, started reading. Here's one from last month. I think about the life we could have had sometimes. Do you? And your response, more than I should. Daniel felt like he'd been punched. Rebecca. It was hypothetical. Just nostalgia. It didn't mean anything. Vanessa continued scrolling. Here's another. Tyler, does he make you happy? Really happy? Rebecca, he's a good man. He tries. Not exactly a ringing endorsement of your marriage. Stop it, Rebecca whispered. You're taking things out of context. Am I? Vanessa's voice hardened. Then let's add context. 3 days ago, Tyler texted me saying your friend Rebecca was pregnant and needed advice. I was confused because he'd never mentioned a friend named Rebecca before. So I looked at his messages. And I found months of emotional intimacy that crossed every line. Daniel sank into a chair, his legs unable to support him anymore. Months. They started texting again about 6 months ago, Vanessa said, looking at him with something like pity. Rebecca reached out to Tyler after running into him at some conference. It started as catching up, then became more. There was nothing physical. Rebecca's voice rose desperately. We never met up alone, never even talked on the phone. It was just messages. Just messages. Daniel's voice was hollow. You built an entire emotional affair through just messages while I thought we were trying to build a family. Vanessa leaned forward. Here's what I told Tyler last night. He ends this, completely, or our engagement is off. No more contact with Rebecca whatsoever. And I told him I was coming here this morning to tell you everything, because you deserve to know what your wife is doing. Why? Rebecca asked bitterly. Why blow up everyone's lives? Because Tyler won't stop unless I force him to. And because, Vanessa looked at Daniel directly, you need to make an informed decision about your marriage before a baby enters the picture. Children don't fix broken relationships. They just complicate them. The room fell silent. Daniel stared at his hands, trying to process everything. His wife was pregnant. His wife had been emotionally cheating with her ex. His wife's ex's fiancée was sitting in his living room exposing everything because the ex wouldn't stop on his own. Say something, Rebecca whispered. Daniel looked up at her, this woman he'd loved for 6 years, married for 4. Did you ever love me? Or was I just the safe choice after Tyler broke your heart? Tears streamed down Rebecca's face. Of course I love you. But you love him too. It's not. It's different. He was my first love. That never completely goes away. But you're my partner, my husband, the father of my child. Am I? The question escaped before Daniel could stop it. Rebecca's face crumpled. How could you even ask that? Vanessa stood abruptly. I've said what I came to say. Daniel, if you want screenshots of the messages, I can send them. Not to hurt you, but so you have everything. Daniel nodded numbly. Vanessa let herself out, leaving husband and wife alone in the wreckage of their marriage. After Vanessa left, silence filled the house like poison gas. Rebecca stood frozen by the couch, tears still streaming down her face. Daniel remained seated, staring at nothing, his mind struggling to organize the chaos of the last hour into something coherent. I need you to leave, he finally said, his voice flat. What? Rebecca's eyes widened. Daniel, please, we need to talk about this. We just did. Vanessa talked. Now I need you to go. Stay with your sister, get a hotel, I don't care. But I can't look at you right now. This is my house too. Then I'll leave. Daniel stood, moving toward the bedroom. Rebecca followed him, desperation creeping into her voice. You can't just shut down like this. We're having a baby. We need to figure this out. Daniel stopped, his hand on the bedroom door frame. Are we having a baby, Rebecca? Or are you having a baby? Because apparently, I'm the last to know anything important in your life. That's not fair. Fair? Daniel spun around. You want to talk about fair? You've been building a relationship with another man for months. Sharing your hopes, your fears, your dreams, and now the most important news of our lives, with him instead of me. You made Tyler your emotional husband while I was just here paying bills and waiting for you to maybe notice me. It wasn't like that. Rebecca's voice cracked. I wasn't trying to hurt you. I was just confused. Tyler and I have history, and when we started talking again, old feelings resurfaced. But I chose you, Daniel. I married you. Did you though? Or did Tyler just not choose you back? The words came out cruel, but Daniel was past caring. Be honest. If Tyler had fought for you, would you be standing here right now? Rebecca's silence answered everything. Daniel laughed bitterly. That's what I thought. He grabbed a duffel bag from the closet and started throwing clothes into it. Where are you going? Away from here. Away from you. He grabbed his toothbrush from the bathroom, his phone charger from the nightstand. I need time to think without you crying and making this about your feelings when you're the one who destroyed our marriage. I made a mistake. Can't you forgive me? Daniel paused, his hand gripping the duffel bag strap. Forgiveness isn't the issue, Rebecca. Trust is. You didn't just lie to me once. You built an entire secret relationship over months. You told another man about our baby before telling me. Even now, I don't think you understand why that's so fundamentally wrong. His phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. Vanessa, he realized, sending the screenshots she'd promised. He opened them, scrolling through months of messages between Rebecca and Tyler. Each one felt like a small betrayal compounding into something insurmountable. Tyler, sometimes I wonder if I made a mistake letting you go. Rebecca, don't say things like that. We both moved on. Tyler, did we? You still text me more than anyone else. Rebecca, that's different. You understand me. Daniel held up his phone. You told him he understands you. What does that make me? The guy who doesn't understand his own wife. Rebecca reached for him. You're twisting everything. Am I? Or am I finally seeing everything clearly? Daniel pulled away from her touch. Here's what's going to happen. I'm leaving. You're going to think about whether you actually want this marriage or if you're just scared to be alone. And I'm going to decide if I can ever trust you again. What about the baby? The baby doesn't change that we're broken, Rebecca. It just means we'll have to figure out how to co-parent if we can't fix this. He shouldered the bag. Schedule a doctor's appointment. Text me the date and time. I'll be there because that baby deserves a father who shows up. But you and me, that's on pause until I can figure out if there's anything left to save. Daniel, please. Did you sleep with him? The question exploded out of Daniel, something he'd been afraid to ask. At that conference, or any other time. Did you? No. I swear, nothing physical ever happened. But you wanted it to. Rebecca's hesitation was answer enough. Daniel walked to the door, then turned back. The worst part isn't even the emotional affair. It's that you told Tyler about our baby before me because you knew he'd give you the reaction you wanted. You needed him to validate your feelings more than you needed to share that moment with your husband. That's what I can't get past. You chose him in the moment that should have been ours. He left Rebecca crying in their bedroom and drove to his brother's apartment across town, his phone already buzzing with her messages, apologies, explanations, pleas. He silenced it all. Daniel spent 3 days at his brother's place, ignoring most of Rebecca's calls and texts. He responded only to schedule the doctor's appointment, 8 days away, and to confirm he'd be there. His brother, Christopher, gave him space but also forced him to eat, shower, and occasionally talk. What are you going to do? Christopher asked on the third night, handing Daniel a beer. I don't know, Daniel admitted. Part of me wants to leave and never look back. Part of me remembers the woman I fell in love with and wonders if we can find our way back to that. And the baby. That baby didn't ask for this mess. Whatever Rebecca and I decide, that kid deserves parents who can at least be civil. Daniel took a long drink. Vanessa texted me yesterday. Tyler ended things with Rebecca completely. Blocked her number, deleted everything. How do you feel about that? Relieved. Angry that it took his fiancée forcing him instead of him respecting my marriage on his own. Grateful to Vanessa for caring enough to blow it all up. Daniel rubbed his face. She sent me one more message. Said Rebecca called Tyler crying, begging him to talk to her, and he refused. Vanessa wanted me to know Rebecca's trying to salvage the wrong relationship. On the day of the appointment, Daniel arrived at the clinic early. Rebecca was already there, looking exhausted and small in one of the waiting room chairs. She stood when she saw him. Thank you for coming, she said quietly. Daniel nodded but didn't sit next to her. The tension was suffocating. When they were called back, the ultrasound technician cheerfully congratulated them, oblivious to the frost in the room. Daniel watched the screen as the technician pointed out the tiny form of their baby, explaining measurements and due dates. 8 weeks along. Healthy heartbeat. He felt tears on his cheeks and roughly wiped them away. Rebecca reached for his hand. He let her take it, but didn't squeeze back. After the appointment, they sat in Daniel's car in the parking lot. Rebecca broke the silence first. "I've started therapy," she said. "Individual counseling. I need to understand why I did what I did, why I sabotaged us." "That's good. I want you to come home. I want us to go to couples counseling together." Daniel stared out the windshield. "I'm not ready." "When will you be?" "I don't know, Rebecca. Maybe never." He finally looked at her. "You broke something fundamental. Even if we fix this, it'll never be what it was." "I know." Her voice was small. "But maybe it could be something different. Something better, if we both work at it." "Do you still think about him?" Rebecca swallowed hard. "Sometimes. But I'm trying not to. I'm trying to grieve what was and accept what is. Tyler's gone. He's marrying Vanessa, and I hope they're happy. What I had with him it was holding on to youth, onto a version of myself I can't be anymore. And what am I? You're the man who showed up today, even though I hurt you. You're the father of my child. You're the person I chose to build a life with, and I was too stupid to appreciate that until I almost lost it." She took a shaky breath. "I love you, Daniel. Not the way I loved Tyler when I was 22. I love you the way you love someone when you build a life together, when you know their flaws and choose them anyway. I just forgot that for a while." Daniel closed his eyes. "I can't promise anything." "I know. But I'll try counseling. For the baby. And maybe, if we're really lucky, for us." Rebecca let out a sob of relief. "That's all I can ask." They sat in silence for a few more minutes, then Daniel started the car. "I'm staying at Christopher's for now. When I'm ready, I'll come home. We'll take this slow." "Okay." "And Rebecca, no more secrets. Ever. If you're struggling, if you're tempted to reach out to an ex, if you're having doubts about us, you tell me. Even if it's hard. Especially if it's hard. I promise." 3 months later, Daniel moved back home. They attended counseling weekly, learning to communicate in ways they'd never managed before. Rebecca proved her commitment daily, showing him her phone freely, being transparent about her feelings, and working through her tendency to seek validation outside their marriage. The baby, a girl they named Sophie, was born in spring. Daniel held her in the hospital, Rebecca exhausted but smiling beside him, and felt a fragile hope blooming in his chest. They weren't fixed. They might never be completely whole. But they were trying. Vanessa and Tyler sent a congratulations card but no gift, maintaining the boundary they'd all needed. Inside, Vanessa had written a single line: "Every ending is also a beginning. Wishing you wisdom to know the difference." Daniel put the card in Sophie's baby book anyway. It felt important to remember that sometimes the worst moments led to the most important changes. He looked at Rebecca nursing their daughter, and she looked back at him with a hope that matched his own. They had a long road ahead. But for the first time since that terrible morning in the kitchen, Daniel believed they might actually make it.